Tanya, and I'm going to be your new host for uSpeak. I'm standing outside of Sid Smith, and today we want to know what you think about Occupy Wall Street. Hi, I'm here with Daniel, David, Jeffrey, Beza, and Mariella. I'm here with Felix, and we want to know what you think the Occupy Wall Street movement is all about.
I think, from my understanding at least, it's just a movement that is against the sort of capitalism and also against, it's already mentioned, like 99% of the world versus the 1% that actually has the wealth.
I think it was sort of about two things. The original one was just like, Wall Street, you have a job, do it. We gave you this money so you know, keep stuff running smoothly instead of betting against yourself or whatever. That was the original point, I think, of when it came about. But this whole 99% thing is just rage against capitalism in general, or the entire system in general, and I think it's been mixed up and there's two separate things and they're distracting attention away from each other, and I'm not a fan of that.
Well, I think it's about the dissatisfaction that a lot of Americans have about their lives.
Just their lives in general?
Well, of course, they, sort of their lives as impacted by the economic system and the political system, and that's pretty much most of people's lives, I suppose. That seems to be what it's about, isn't it? It's mostly about complaining about companies and the government. That's what I've heard.
So some people think this movement is revolutionary. Do you think it can have a genuine impact on the current system?
Absolutely. I think that's, well, I hold the view that that's one of the only ways to get things done, get the masses together.
There's so many revolution protests that go on, so I'm not sure if this one particularly will have a big impact, and if so, that would be nice.
Well, I think it can have an impact, but I wouldn't call it revolutionary. I think that's really gross exaggeration. I mean, when you think about what a revolution really is, it's a complete replacement of the existing ruling order. That's not even remotely predictable from what we've seen so far, because there's small numbers of people and they don't have any definite ambition to overthrow the government from what I've seen.
Some people think that this movement is revolutionary. Do you think it can have a real impact on the current system?
Honestly, I forgot it was happening 2 weeks ago.
And has it affected you personally?
It actually hasn't, so not in some ways.
And has this affected you personally?
Personally, I'm gonna have to say no.
Personally not. I actually haven't even seen any people protesting, just on television, so it really hasn't impacted me in any way.
Has it affected you personally?
No.
And has it affected you personally?
Only to the extent that I'm now having this interview. Well, I think that, it's really unpredictable. It may have almost no impact. This could just fizzle. And it could be like some of the protests we've seen against globalization and the G20 and so forth over time, which I think don't have a very big impact, at least not so far, right? They sort of become fashionable protests for a short while, and then they kind of disappear. Again, I think because they don't have any really clear program, in my opinion. But I think you never know. If the economy continues to languish, I think the ranks of these people will grow. And I think that a very widespread expression of dissatisfaction could have, I think it could affect political positions and policies. Politicians will try to capitalize on it, is what happens when you have sufficiently widespread and deep dissatisfaction. So it could be, but I think it's too soon to tell.